All right. Okay, great. So, welcome back to the Have We Made It Yet podcast. My name is Josh Yang, comedian Josh Yang.
And I'm the actor, Lucas Ng.
Again, the actor. There's one and only the actor, Lucas Ng. But yes, it's another week of coronavirus after it's a hot week. Summer's here again. But yes, Lucas, you know what? Do you feel like you've made it? Have you made it yet?
Oh, good. You didn't change up the question because I would have got disappointed. No, no, I have not. But I had a good meeting with my agent today.
Ooh.
And well, I'm still represented. Thank God she didn't drop me.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a while until production start again. They can't give out a good timeline, but it's gonna be a while. So that journey is gonna be extended now.
Right, but at least like the government has made some statements before that they want to get that kind of productions layer side of the industry back up and running, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's on their agenda, but in terms of distancing people 6 feet away on any film set, it's going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, you're gonna have to play with the camera angles. It's like, oh, you're over the shoulder, but you're actually far away in a scene.
Exactly.
I have to do that. But yeah.
Mr. Josh Yang.
Oh, me? Yes.
Yes, you. The Mr. Josh Yang.
Yes.
Have you made it yet?
I have not made it yet. No, I haven't. And but the Sleep with Josh podcast has been very popular amongst the people that I've mentioned it to. So I consider that a success. But yeah, we're now like 3-4 episodes into it. So I'm looking forward. Maybe people will continue listening to it. Maybe not. My last one was on soap making. So I'm very excited.
I'll listen to that one. Okay.
Yeah, soap making. I thought coronavirus would be good for people to read about a soap making manual from 1922. So that's where I'm at. But yes, that's not the point of today's podcast.
What is it? What is it, Josh? What is
Today's podcast? We have an excellent guest who I've shared the stage with. This female comedian has done comedy for about 1.5 years now, and she actually started producing her own Frequency 5 FM Facebook Live show. It's like a weekly show. She did it on Facebook Live before the apocalypse happened. And it was called Kind of Late it's the Kind of Late show with Veronica Antipolo.
Nice.
I just realized it kind of rhymes. But yes, this is our guest. This podcast is Veronica Antipolo.
Woo! Veronica!
Ooh, what a reveal!
What a reveal. There we go.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you. Finally, I have one of my other comedian friends on the podcast. It's been a little bit, but yes. So we've shared the big stage. Well, the big stage of my short experience together on the Bonk Show's Fresh Rice Asian Comedian Showcase. Back in January at the illustrious CBC's Glenn Gould studio, and that was definitely a great experience, right?
That was like the highlight of 2020. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. That was supposed to be like, for me, that was supposed to feel like I'm gonna start the year strong. It's gonna feel good. I'm gonna take this and hit the summer with try to do more shows, and then all of a sudden, this was it. This was the year.
Right? That was like the equivalent to our theme song. Just like looking at it, looking at your flyer, and going, "Hey, that's us."
Pretty much.
At least we got to do that for 2020.
I know. Very thankful. If you think about
positive.
If we just did that like a month later, I mean, I remember even then that week we were already kind of a little on edge about. It's an Asian show. There's, we're inviting all of the people we know. There's going to be a lot of Asians there. It's like, do you think, could it possibly be there? Would it be there? But then we, thankfully, I don't think anything happened.
No, it was like everything happened after. I feel like you just started to hear whispers of Corona, and then it was, at least we got that.
At least we got that down in the books,
That's
shot,
right.
and then we'll see whenever it comes out.
Yeah. Well, then it's just going to continue from there. Like CBC and just bigger.
Pretty much. Hopefully, that's the plan. But yes, so usually, Veronica, we always start off our interviews by asking our big question, our existential, the reason why this podcast even exists. But yes, Veronica.
I'm scared.
I know. Get ready for this. Have you made it yet?
Well, okay. I swear I'm not trying to be corny. It's because I accidentally fell into everything. Because I'm older. I did things kind of late. That's actually not why I named the show, but that's clever, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's why.
I know.
Keep it in the taglines.
Tagline. Yeah, not a mistake. Did it on purpose. But yeah, I just I fell into it. So for me, like, everything's such a bonus. I'm like, oh my God, I produced a sold out show. Oh my God, I have an online show. Like, I'm just like, and then COVID. And I'm like, okay. Calm down.
Dreams. What are they? Well, they were fleeting dreams. All just fleeting dreams.
Yeah.
But let's talk a bit more about how you said you fell right into it. Because I know, like, throughout, like, your comedy and all the jokes you do talk about having, like, kids and a family, and, like, I can imagine that's already, like, a lot of work to do, and then suddenly, like, now being at a stage where it's like, I want to take on comedy. It's like, how did that happen?
I got fired from a really like a stable job, and people are like, just stay there till retirement. Like, I had my retirement cake and picked out, even though that wasn't for years, but still, but it was like one of those kinds of jobs where, like, your family's proud to say where you work.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So anyways, I got fired, and at that point I was like creeping up to 45, and I was like, oh my God, I'm middle aged and I'm supposed to have my shit together, and I thought I was doing everything right and by the book.
Yeah.
And it fucked me up anyways. So I said, screw this. I'm going to try one thing that I've, like, always kind of been interested in, but not tried. And I wanted to make it so different. And then also a friend from that place that I work said, like, listen, you need to take stand up. You need to take stand up. And I was like, I don't know. I think you just like wasting time at work. And so I took storytelling at Second City because I was too intimidated to take stand up.
Right.
And there were two guys in there who were admittedly, like, unfunny.
Ooh.
And I was like, if those two guys can do it, I can do it. And so I took it, and I honestly, I just wanted to make it to the grad show without throwing up.
Nice.
So the grad show was kind of like your first. So was it like you were telling a story that you wrote for that grad show? It wasn't like a structured set or anything at that.
No. This is when I took stand up. I had grad shows for both.
Okay.
For stand up, yes, you write. Well, I don't know if you've taken it at Second City, but you write your set pretty much in the class.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, I took it with like Fawad HB and Joe Vu up.
Oh, right, that's right.
Yeah, the LOL comedy class up at.
Absolute.
Wow, absolute. Why did I suddenly blank on that? It's been
it's your internet connection.
Oh yes, yeah. The internet's been coming in and out for a while.
Good joke, Josh. Good joke.
But yeah. So yeah,
I like that you made the movement with it too.
You got to sell the illusion. But yeah, tell us about how, like, your first experience then when you went on stage. This was like you writing your jokes. You're seeing what it's like in front of an audience. How was that?
Oh my God. So the grad show is technically my first show, and I was shaking so much, and I thought also too, there were 4 women who started. One dropped out like after the first class. One didn't go to the grad show. Oh. And so there were just 2 of us who were like, we got to represent. So I was really nervous, and I remember I was backstage holding a doll for some reason. They had props back there.
Yeah.
And I I was like, oh my God, I can't let go of this doll. I went out on stage, and I just thought, you know what? I just have to give it everything, because what do I have to lose? So I went out and I did my set. I didn't forget anything like I thought I would.
Nice.
And then I think I booked like 3 shows right away.
Nice. Congrats.
Wow. Did you do it through like the Facebook group or just other people within the like people you met through the show?
Yeah, there were 2 people there who spoke to me when I came out.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing I realized, like, you know, like you kind of get it in your head before you start doing, you know, trying to give it a shot. But usually once you give it a shot, that's how other opportunity, you don't know what will come your way.
Absolutely.
And it's just a matter of getting that first step done, and then the next steps will materialize, they will appear in front of you, and then trying to take those opportunities wherever they may.
That's right. And it's so funny because people will ask, they're always like, oh, how did you have the confidence or the courage? I was like, I don't. I said, I literally just back myself into a corner until I have no choice.
Nice.
And jump, because you'll never get the courage or the confidence. Those things are actually just postpartum. They're actually like post event, like it's after you do it that you feel the confidence and the courage for the next one. So I'm like, what are you asking me?
You're right. You're right.
Do it drunk if you have to.
Exactly. Like, speaking on that, I've been watching a lot of The Last Dance, and like one of the major things that Michael Jordan had was a mental advantage of always just being present in the moment. There is no failure because that moment hasn't gone yet. There's only that moment. So in terms of you standing on the stage for the first time, like, what were your mental thoughts going in? Were you just zoned into the moment, or were you thinking of something else?
That's funny you asked that, because my friends said the same thing. They said, because I told everyone after I was scared. I was bawling, actually. I'm not a crier, but for whatever reason, comedy triggered the emotional side of me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was nervous, and it still happens. And then, like, I just get on stage, and then I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. I just feel like everything's there simultaneously. It's like I can hear, see, smell everything at the same time. But at the same time, it's like this strange sense of being hyper focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
The best sex I've ever had.
You're not just thinking of when it's going to be over, right? Oh.
No, I'm not. I'm just like, unless it's like a bad crowd, I'm like, get me off.
Yeah.
Oh man, do you ever have moments where like I get anxious going up, or I get anxious going? Actually, I get anxious throughout the day up until the point of actually getting to the club, making sure I'm focused, and then the second I get on stage, then I relax and get into the routine and stuff. And then coming after, that's when I can like have a beer and enjoy the rest of the show. But do you ever have any experiences where it's like you're up there and then you come off and you're like you don't remember what happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. At Fresh Rice, actually, I was the next day. I was like, there were certain things that were coming to me, and I was like, did that happen? Like, yeah.
It's like
it was such a blur.
Yeah, I remember, what was it? I think it might have been Nick who was like, he felt like he straight up blacked out and didn't remember exactly like how he got on stage. And then everybody, it's interesting when you put yourself in a kind of, like a hyper engaged sensory overload type of state, your brain's going overtime. Sometimes it just doesn't remember what's happening. And it's, that's pretty funny. But yeah, so I know when it comes to your comedy, you do talk a lot about obviously your experiences. All a comedian has is to really draw upon their experiences. But you do talk about like your family. You have an adult son, and then like another younger kid as well. So that's an interesting dynamic. So how have you like approached taking that and putting it into your comedy?
Oh, I actually do talk about my son and his friends.
I know. That's probably my favorite. That's probably my favorite bit of yours, because that's such a it's such an interesting like contrarian perspective of what you imagine like a mom should behave or whatever.
Exactly. So that's exactly why. Yeah, it's exactly why. And so and the funny thing is, so I talk about my daughter too, and the things I say about her aren't necessarily flattering either. Well, actually, they're not flattering about me more than her.
Right.
But my son actually has come to all the shows of mine that he can.
Yeah.
And then at my shows that like I've produced, he'll pay, and I'm like, you have a hookup, right? You just come on in. But it's like, it's really, honestly, it's really nice, and he invites his friends and stuff. So he's a bringer. So.
Yo, how have they reacted? Because I know. Do you want to explain a bit about that one joke? Because it involves your son's friends. It's like how have they reacted to that? How's your son reacted to that?
So I joke about my son's friends, and I can't even go into detail because it'll give it away. Because one day I'll tell it on a stage. But so he actually came to a show where he brought his best friend.
Yeah.
And I remember they were standing up against the wall, and I said the punchline, and his friend was like, "Oh, but it wasn't me."
Yeah.
I was like, it wasn't any of you. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of audiences don't realize is like you'll take from your experiences, and then you'll create a story, create a caricature of yourself or the situation. But then sometimes people think those are legit for real, and it's like maybe some of the outrageous things you say involving like your son or your son's friends is like, oh no, I don't know, is this me? Is that actually me? I didn't remember doing anything. But it's like, but yeah.
You didn't, by the way. If anyone happens to listen, none of you did.
Yeah. So then, when it comes to like kind of your style of comedy, like, do you have any influences that you would say like you gravitate towards?
It's funny. I was thinking about that actually very recently because we have so much time to think right now.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that that set that I wrote, and like I've added to it, I feel like I wrote it more to pass a class. And it's funny because I was just thinking, I was like, you know what? When I'm interacting with people, I said, my humor is a little different. And we've hung out together, Josh.
Yeah.
Some of it I don't recall, but we hung out together. And so I was like, I want to try being more myself going forward. And fortunately, during pandemic, when you don't have much social distancing, you also forget how to socialize. So I feel like it's coming out naturally.
Right. Yeah, I can totally understand that because, like, I think everybody who comes out of that environment where it's like, oh, you have a comedian teacher is able to guide you through writing the material, then it's very much like a classical kind of structure. It's like, how to put in the punchline and then do the setup and everything, but it may not all necessarily flow together because it's like you're just trying to grasp at whatever funny idea you can come up with. So that definitely is like another step where it's like you're now outside of the class material. You got to write this yourself and figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
How has pandemic for the both of you affected your writing style? Has it made you more grounded in terms of your own social isolation, or has it made you more of a longing to be with other people?
It depends on the hour, Lucas.
Oh yeah, true.
Really, like I find if I write in the morning, it's more hopeful. But if I write like at night, which is technically the morning too, but it's like, who the hell is Debbie Downer? Yeah. But they both coexist right now.
Yeah, for me, I haven't been writing much at all. I've been like focusing on other things like this podcast, the other podcast idea I have, and then trying to read more and like I think work a little bit on maybe screenwriting a little bit. But and when it comes to, this is actually kind of bad. It's like when it comes to actually sitting down and running through jokes again, I think a little bit is like because there hasn't been as much of like an opportunity now to get stage time or anything like that. It's like it's going to be a long time before we'll be able to try it. So it feels like, I still write I still come up with premises and ideas, but when it comes to like going through them and like running through them, I still need to get back on that horse. But still keeping myself involved, engaged creatively. But yeah, Veronica, like what have you been doing in terms of like trying to do more creative stuff? I know we've done Bong's podcast
a
couple times.
Yeah. So what have I been doing? So I also produce like a storytelling platform, and it's for women of color. And that's just so because like you don't hear those narratives very often. And so, well, we did which episode did we do together on Bong's thing?
I remember we definitely did the half of it episode where we talked about the movie. Yeah.
And so like I just wanted a platform for women of color who don't generally ever get a chance to be vulnerable, just tell like a personal story. And then it's cool because they get to connect with people who have never heard a story like that, or someone who identifies with it. And then also I've been doing a lot of technical production with other people, so partnering with other people and doing their whole tech thing. What else? Writing. I'm writing a lot more. I don't know when I'm gonna get to tell these jokes, but
yeah. Have you done any of those kind of like Zoom shows? Those kinds of comedy shows?
I tried. It was something Anto does, Anto Chan.
Oh yeah, you're doing his open mic.
Art Flow, I think. And and I had the choice to do either comedy or storytelling, and it was early on in the pandemic. I had a set ready and I had a story ready because I just couldn't do it. I just didn't feel funny.
It's odd. It's already, I feel like when you're already out there on a stage in front of an audience, it's already going to be a little hit or miss depending on the audience's mood that night, or just whatever combination of people's perspectives in that moment. And it's like even in that moment where you can have some kind of influence and control with your body language, your material, like even then not everything will work sometimes. And then now it's an even more alien, an even more disconnected form of medium where it's like I'm gonna tell a joke and then everybody's like, it feels like people need other people's permission to laugh, right? Like it feels like if you have an audience and you hear other people laughing, then you can laugh out loud a bit more. But if somebody laughs in a Zoom meeting, it's like the microphones will specifically pick up people, so it's not a blended out laughter. It's like a couple people you could definitely hear are laughing, and then everybody else. So even then, I've kind of been a little wary about trying that because I don't know how effective it would be. But I mean, sometimes you could probably get away with like maybe just getting an innate reaction, but like it's tough to gauge, I find.
Yep. It's and you know what too? It's just I find it's not stand up. It's not stand up, and I feel like you're starting to see comedians humor in a different light, so to speak, because really when you do it, it's like this. It's like engagement between people, and I'm like, oh, some people aren't people persons.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. I could totally. Yeah. There are some people who is like, you get them on a stage, they completely change because there's just some switch in their head that is like, this is where I want it. But personal interaction, I always found it's such an interesting flip where it's like YouTubers or like people who were developing their audience through social media or through like YouTube platforms and that kind of stuff, like they're still good because this is their medium. They can go. And now you have comedians trying to be YouTubers, and it's all a little all over the place because it's like that's A, not the natural habitat, and B, I don't think a lot of comedians really like the medium either way. So it's like out of necessity where you kind of put yourself in there, and it's like you see all these famous comedians and there's like got to stumble through the first few videos with anything. You got to practice through the first few videos to get better. such a weird flip.
It totally is. Like I just know for now, just on the acting side, like I'm taking Zoom online acting classes, and it feels so weird to not get the energy off the other students right now, to just get a feel for how a reader's supposed to be. So when I'm looking at eye lines, I'm just literally pointing at like corners of my laptop to actually make it look like I'm interacting with people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's difficult for you too, because you don't want to see just tiny like Brady Bunch squares on your laptop, but you got to pretend like you're making eye contact with people like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And like people in general, when they find something funny through a screen, they won't laugh because that's insane.
Yeah. They breathe through their nose like,
yeah. or it's like, or it's just like an acknowledgement in your head. It's like, oh yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like nobody will sit in their room, see something, and then laugh out loud like a normal in a club scene interaction, because then that would be insane. That would be kind of crazy to do that by yourself. But it's like people on the screen is like, oh, that's funny.
And it's awkward when they LOL in the chat. And I'm like, what's the point?
How do
I did it a few times, and I keep my video on, and I'm like, because other people shut their video off, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna show them my reaction if they're scrolling through the gallery, like I am, because I'm a big creep. I don't watch the show. I like look at other people in the gallery.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's actually a pretty smart idea, because you need to. Because you need you got to try and see the immediate reaction. That's what I find.
I find that super amusing.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, whenever I record my sets, because I try to record every set whenever I go up, I realize because of the angle I'm recording myself, body language or character, or like how I'm performing, but really like I should be recording the audience as well, because because seeing how they react is actually going to be a better indicator of what is landing, what isn't, or else you're just only going to get the sound and stuff. Do you record your sets? Like, how do you review your material?
Oh my god, I am so I'm a procrastinator, but like the day I used to do like 3, 2, 1 day of. Honestly, now if there's new stuff in there, I'll like do it the day before, but day of, I just like block the day. I'm like, someone babysit my daughter or my son. Someone take her. I have to do this, and I literally will just put my phone on record, and I use my cat as my audience. I hold it's always my lint brush holder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I everything, because I use a lot of movement. So I actually, when I rehearse, it's all it's like muscle. I have to do muscle memory because
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, especially when it's like certain actions are supposed to accentuate like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. But like do you when it comes to like looking back at your own material, do you find that it's like you're more surprised at some of the things you do, or it's like, okay, I can kind of remember, like that seems about right? It's like, oh, I don't remember doing that at all.
What I do get to see is where, because sometimes I didn't do the movements on purpose when I first wrote my set. Some stuff, yes, like very little, but now I find I incorporate it a lot. So yes, when I go back and I did some movement with a joke and I see that it accentuated the punchline or whatever, then I actually, like, that's it stays. Yeah, because there's one where I like crouch down, like that was
oh yeah. Oh, that I remember. There's another one where you have a very specific, like you gotta angle.
Yes, I gotta angle. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that joke.
Gotta do wall sits for that one. Lucas is like, "What is this? What is our set?"
No, Lucas was at the show.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I'm trying to recall that joke right now. I definitely remember your son's friend's joke. Like that one. That one killed.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Because I think that one, that one everybody can like relate to, because that's like, I think it's more or less the idea of like, you know, like an older mom
Stickler's mom.
being not being the classical image of, say, mom or whatever, and you play that up, you play it up for comedic effect, and I think that's always just like a funny premise, seeing standard character ideas, structures, and then just playing them out of context, opposite, contrarian, or whatnot. But yeah, for the let's see, for the rest of the show, what was your favorite part of the whole, like, doing the rice show process?
My favorite part?
That's
hard, Josh. My least favorite part was, like, it was intense. It was like an intensive, wasn't it? It was like,
yeah,
like an intensive workshop. Which at the time I was tired and I felt the stress of it. But if I had to look back, I would say that's my favorite part, in terms of, I like that the challenge was there, because it really was like, what was expected of us was, we had to meet it. I felt a sense of, like, I need to meet this expectation.
Yeah, and I felt like you could definitely see the progression in everybody's material as well, from the beginning, like long set, like, time limits, set certain expectations. Like, I ran through, like, early sets with them, and it's like, maybe if you move things around a bit, change up this punchline, make it cleaner, make it shorter. Like, I had to take, before, like, my first time constructing the set, I threw almost everything I had in there, and then I was, like, kind of rushing it and everything. And it is different, because, like, we were never in that position where it's like, it's going to be recorded. It's going to be, when it's going to be recorded, you have to, plan out your jokes a little different, time them out a little different, in front of such a large audience, in a environment that's, like, cavernous, and like, that affects the performance. And he was 100% true, like, in terms of, I remember for my set, like, I had to cut it down from what I had was, like, a full 7 minutes, like, one after the other, to, like, 5 minutes, and then in the end, timing it out, it just ended up being 6 minutes long, because of all the different moods of the audiences, the laughs and the timings and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't even just about your writing and your stand-up. It's like, you got a course in how you dress for stage, how you stand on stage, how you mic, how everything, like, and then also self-promotion, and even we learned a little bit of lighting when we went to see the video after. Like, I feel like I took a course.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because I also had to be like, okay, I gotta learn how to put on makeup now, or at least enough makeup. Because that was like that was low key brutal when he said that during our dress rehearsals. He was like, right after I came off the stage, is like, just to remind all the guys out there, like, if you have a shiny forehead, make sure you go get makeup stuff. It's like, oh, okay, so I had a shiny forehead.
Yeah, no, it was such, like, good advice. It's the one thing that, actually, we're both wearing our glasses today. Well, I don't usually wear mine, but the one thing that I would have never ever thought of is that the lights, when they hit your eyes, you lose your eyes. So
the reflection. Yeah, I had to change glasses. I had to get smaller, or I had to get different glasses with thinner frames, so that the reflection wouldn't be as obvious. Because I'm just thinking of the end product as well. Like, if I can get something shot nice, it comes out nice, and then the fucking glasses are are reflected, and I have a shiny forehead. It's like, what was the fucking point?
Great jokes, but a shiny forehead.
I like it. This is not a self-esteem workshop.
Yeah. So you really had to be like, I think it's very fortunate, especially like you've been doing it for a year and a half. I was, like, also just doing it for, like, maybe 6-7 months once it came to the actual show. Just, it's like, I mean, like I said before, sometimes you don't know what opportunities come, and it's like, it's just a matter of doing it. Like, once you do it, you'll meet other people, like, and then whatever opportunities, ideas they come up with. How did you hear about the show? Because I remember doing the writing workshop with him, and then he brought that idea up that he was gonna add a second show to his previous plans.
Just like the call out or whatever.
Oh, he put the call out in the Asian Facebook group, right?
Yeah, whatever it was called back then. Yeah, and Bong, I was gonna call him something else, was actually on my first comedy show that I produced.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so then right? Like, so like you producing shows, you're able to like meet other comedians if they have other shows. Like that's kind of the ecosystem whenever, from what I've noticed, it's either people you know who know other people and introduce you, or it's like through the Facebook comedy group when people just post up shows and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm a creep. I like creep shows, and I like just talk to people.
Yeah.
Yo, that's what you got to do. That's part of the hustle.
Yeah.
Speaking about that ecosystem that you guys built during that show, did you guys all help each other at least give out tips on your sets, or at least help each other outside of the showcase?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
For sure. We had like a couple sessions where we were like, we wrote out everything for the show. I think this was just over the Christmas break. So we had to write out everything, send it to Bong. And then when we performed them, we whittled it down even further. Yeah, there was a lot of process with that.
Yeah. Because it had to be like word for word, pretty much.
Yeah, true. That's true. Yeah, we had to make sure that we knew exactly what we were going to say when we were going to say it, because you also had to pay attention of where the cameras were going to go and how the camera people are going to figure that out. So that was definitely a different thing we had to think about, or didn't have to think about it before.
See that, Josh? Did you know that like 4 months ago? Or wait, what month are we in?
I don't know. I feel like my whole comedy thing has just like stopped in March, and then it's like just gonna wait until everything comes back and then restart the timeline. I don't know, but it's like things like that. You really need somebody who's experienced it and like having the opportunity to have that goal at the end to actually understand that experience.
Yeah. No, it was I wish we had a stage. One of the things actually after that show is it made me want to just try more stages.
Yes. Oh fuck! I loved the fucking. Okay, this is what I felt. I felt like that night doing that show in front of that many people in that studio that felt like stand-up comedy to me. That felt like the stand-up comedy in my head, that kind of glamour type of thing. Like clubs, definitely, for sure. That's kind of like your OG setting. Is like, this is where you do your craft and stuff. But it's like being out on a stage and you have hundreds of people listening to you. Yeah. That felt like this is what it feels like it should be.
Yeah. Scary as shit. Yes.
Scary as shit, but it's like, man, just to have those opportunities come and be able to do it for a split second, when you're up there, you feel like you made it.
Yeah,
right? And it's like those, and you're right. Like, I just want to try and do as many bigger stages as possible. And who knows when that's gonna fucking happen.
I know. Yeah. I know, but you know what? I think it's still valuable because, like I said, when people are doing stuff like this, I feel like a lot of people are forgetting that this is a stage now.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, Lucas, you would know because you're doing like your Zoom stuff You're acting on Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, it is different because there are aspects of like stand-up comedy and acting that are alike, as in it's a performance art, so you have to have a space and performance to move to. Whereas I'm talking to a camera, whereas you're talking to an audience, it is still, you do have a confined space. Only now Zoom is smaller, so you need to utilize the space and use it more smartly. So you got to figure out where your eye lines are. You got to figure out even if you go out of frame too long and everything. So everyone's learning at the same time. So never feel alone, because we're all doing this right now.
Yeah, and who knows, like, what this experience is going to lead to? Because, like, if anything, this medium is going to be. Who knows if this is going to develop into the main way people consume how how things are done, or how people put out stuff.
That too, but I really hope we don't still stick with, like, I'm not sure if you guys watch the late night shows like Fallon and Colbert, but it's good writing still, but I can't stand them just like in their own attic talking to their family members.
Yeah.
I can't stand that too often.
You're right. I didn't realize how important having that audience laughter is until when it's gone. Then it's like, because then you think it's like, oh, these guys are just like us. It's just like everybody else.
It's like, just like anybody else.
I was like, no, I realize I need them in front of an audience in order to get that kind of energy, that kind of performance out. But I mean, sometimes in these new environments, you do have to like create your own shows. And like Veronica, I know you created your kind of late show through the Frequency 5FM kind of Facebook radio station. Like, how did that start? Because I know that was like, all of a sudden you have this opportunity to like run a show.
Same thing. I was on two of the shows there. One was Anything Goes, and it was someone who I'd met through Speaker Slam. It's this like monthly inspirational speaking competition, I should say. And the other one is I was on Karen Carrington's show, and after I was on both of those, the program director just said, do you want a spot? I was like, me? And so he's like, yeah, you can start next week. And I was like, what? So I had to come up with this concept really quickly. And I was like, I don't know, call it The Kind of Late Show, because it's at 9:45.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then because we were all female, he didn't want anything that felt too feminine. So I was like, well, I don't know what to do. So I was like, okay, well, I know a bunch of comedians, so I'll just start asking comedians to come on the show, like all different experiences, all different levels. And it was fun.
Yeah, but like I know you mentioned that since everything got shut, like, is this, because I went to do that show with a bunch of the other people, and it was interesting because it was farther than I thought, so I had to take like the TDC all the way out there, and it was I don't know if it felt like it was the middle of nowhere, but it was definitely pretty wide open.
Yeah.
But it was just like it was in like it's like a half lot of different kinds of small businesses, and you go in and it's all set up there. And but so I guess they closed their door moving forward until everything comes back. And I guess for you, you're thinking of like restructuring the format, right, to try and fit.
Yeah, because when this all first started, I did one. So I pre-recorded and edited and put it up. And then I did a bunch of interviews, which I haven't even put up yet. So I have like a lot, and I'm editing them because we tend to talk longer now. But something just didn't start to feel right, because I thought originally the show, first of all, I just came up with the concept because I only had a week. Second of all, I feel like the concept of the show was like shameless self-promotion. I liked having new comedians on there and giving a flavor of themselves. Like, I got a couple of people booked on shows that were on there. And so I'm like, well, what am I promoting them for? Like their Zoom show?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't feel true anymore. So I think I'll keep the name because it's appropriate to how I came into comedy.
Yeah. I think it's a great name.
Life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just might change the format of it.
Do you like, can you tease us a little bit with some of your ideas?
So about that grad show, what I didn't tell you in the story that I told just, a few minutes ago, is that the other thing that happened, why I started crying actually, is because when I came off stage and I left the theater, John Candy Box, 3 women grabbed me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get assaulted. Yeah. And they were like, listen, you're our girl. I was like, I don't even know you. And they said, the fact that you're up there and being 45, I guess at this time, and like the stuff you were saying, it was really empowering. Mm-hmm. And I kept hearing this from like my friends and stuff. And whether it was about what I spoke about or just the fact that I like decided to do this, it didn't matter if it was a little stage. To them, it was such a representation of like, well, if she's just going to try something,
right,
why can't I? And I've had friends who are like, I've getting more into painting because he's always wanted to do it. So now he is seriously pursuing it. And so for me, I'm like, I think I want to turn this show into something where originally it was for women so that they feel a sense of empowerment, because the whole thing is I don't want people to get the impression that you're a 45-year-old woman who disappears into the background. You don't have to be.
Yeah.
You don't have to be.
Interesting. Yeah, and the title, it works for that 100%. Like you easily adapt it. It'd be like, I think people would definitely relate to that. Yeah, that idea of the title.
Yeah. That's the first time I've talked about it, by the way. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, you heard it here first, folks.
I know.
Just we're doing some live making it pre-recorded a week ago, but yeah, okay, that's interesting. So are you thinking of keeping it, putting it through the Frequency 5 on Facebook Live, or does it feel like it could also be like a podcast structure? Who knows?
I could just do a podcast structure. So I'll obviously start like this.
Yeah, plugging everything's
I know,
like this now.
I know. Right. And and just picking like women I genuinely like talking to, and that have a sense of humor, that are, that have different opinions. And I just want other women to see, like, comedy especially. I'm like, let's get more of us in there.
That's the thing. I remember when I went to see the grad class that a friend of mine, Arsalan, did, and that got me into doing the next class that Joe and Fawad were running. They had a couple definitely funny female comedians on there, and I always like that because it adds a different perspective. You can't hear the same type of comedians go up talking about the same perspective, same ideas all the time. I was looking forward to that in my class, and it ended up just only having one female comedian try to take the class, and in the end, like, she ended up having to kind of not do the final show because she had family situations and stuff like that. But like, I think we need more female comedians, just because it's like you need different perspectives in comedy, or else it's just, you can't hear the same jokes or premises over and over again. And I think in order to get new ideas, it'll create a healthier environment for comedy in Toronto.
I agree.
No doubt.
So 100%. Cool. So we all look forward to seeing that come into fruition in the future. Definitely keep us updated.
I have to do it now. I just said it.
I know.
See, I told you. I backed myself into a corner. I'm like, well, I guess I gotta do it.
There you go. Yeah, you know what? All 36 of our listeners will keep you.
36? Wow, that's pretty.
I think they will keep you, hold you accountable for this to happen. But it's a starting process. Everything's a starting process.
Exactly.
Honestly, Veronica, like, great job of putting yourself in the corner with getting fired from your job. I knew that was all part of the plan. So that's awesome.
Years in the making.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's what you got to do when all hope is lost. Turn to comedy. That's how. That's how I was. I was in between jobs, and I was like, you know what?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was in. It's like this time, I'm not going to just only look for work. This time, I'm going to do something else to gain a better sense of confidence, so I could take that forward. And now it's like turn into all these projects. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how that comes out. And thanks. Usually I say we've only done it a couple times now, but we've been time. Yeah, this is the third time. So we're ending our podcasts with kind of like a word association game. So we have like 10 words each, and then we just want to kind of just get your immediate reaction to some of these words. So we'll see what happens. We'll just see what happens.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, Lucas, you wanna?
Competitive.
Yeah. I'll start.
You'll start. All right.
I was about to give you a hint about like these words, but no. Fresh responses.
Fresh. Okay.
Loosen up. Feel it. Yeah. Be present. Be MJ in this. Be Veronica. Okay, I'm just gonna name the first word and just keep on going down. And give me your first word. First word, Carlin.
Vault. I don't know.
Hedberg.
Oh. Wait, what was that?
Sorry, second word, Hedberg.
First one.
All right.
Alley.
Way.
Ooh. Burr.
Nice.
Hey! Cold.
Kreischer.
Kreischer?
Yeah, Kreischer.
You too. Oh, that's 2 words.
That works. Silverman.
Sarah.
Nice. Cummings.
Over here.
Rock.
Me.
Ooh, nice. Bobby.
Brown.
Ooh. And Ansari.
It's okay.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yo, I was the second Lucas said that. I'm like, in my head is like, there's one word like reaction I could say. I'm thinking, I wonder if Veronica would get, and it's just like nailed it.
Yeah. Yes, Josh.
That's so funny. Yeah, high five. That's perfect. Yeah.
Over to you, Mr. Yang.
All right, we'll do mine. Probably not as entertaining as that, but let's go with it. Okay, first word, family.
Matters.
Pineapple.
Sponge.
Pineapple sponge.
SpongeBob.
That'd be the. Oh, okay. I was thinking that'd be the worst sponge. Okay. Rain.
Man.
Alone.
Me.
Oh.
Oops. Oh, is this not the psychology test?
Oh, yeah. No, this is all. Everything's gonna be related to sex in the end. Motivation.
Self.
Kumquat.
Okay.
Mountain.
Top.
Tightrope.
Bottom.
Satisfied.
Not me.
Hey.
And finally, ending.
Starting.
All right. There we go. That's Veronica Antipolo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I had fun.
Yeah, that was great at the end. Oh man. But yeah, is there anything you want to promote? I mean, we kind of a little bit promoted, but is there anything like specific right now? You know, concluding promotional stuff. Like, what's your social media?
My social media is sassy SASSY _la LA _V for Veronica.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I'm doing like technical production on a bunch of things because I was like in administration for like 20 years, so I use Zoom and web conferencing all the time.
Oh.
And I was also an event coordinator, and then like now producing and performing. So I was like, what a stupid resume. Like no one would ever hire me. But funny enough, it's the right skill set for helping people do their online stuff that they're so
hey, you know what, it's meant to be.
It all works out.
Yeah.
So I have like an art show coming up that I did technical production on.
Nice.
And that was fun because we were trying to figure out how to do like an art show that you would attend and how to make it engaging online. So
yeah,
it'll be fun.
Cool.
And a storytelling event. Nice.
Is there like, are you able to show where they are? So I guess we can tell people.
Yeah. So it's called Anartamy, and that's a play on her name, ANARTAMY Art Show 2020, and you can find it on Artery. So it will be the artist, and she's having a panel of 4 of her friends. One of them will be me, a comedian, an artist, a tipsy art lover and an art skeptic. So she'll show her work, and then we're gonna rip her apart.
Cool. Wow, that's interesting. Wow.
We're friends.
So that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll have those links up in whenever we post when we post it next week. And we'll do that. Lucas, what's your social media handles?
You can find me on Instagram at Lucas John Ing, and no one uses Facebook anymore, so I'm not going to promote that.
Just comedians.
Right. True.
Just to organize. But yes, you can all find me on social media at Josh Yang Comedy, Instagram, Twitter. I'm really trying to still push Twitter, but I only have 5 people following me. I'm pretty sure 2 to 3 of them are bots. So, well, I'm capturing the mechanical market. So who knows? So there's that, and then YouTube, Facebook. There's the Sleep with Josh podcast. So look up that. Yeah, have you heard about that?
No, I thought you were joking.
No, it's up there. Sleep with Josh.
How's that doing?
It's doing surprisingly well. Like every time I've told people about it, there's like they always get the joke, so at least the name works well. And then I explain the premise more, and it's like it's just me reading the dictionary, laws, like soap making manual. So just actually boring stuff, right? So yeah. It's been going well. Like now is a matter of putting more stuff over and over again, and then once I have a collection of things, then I can do a better job of promoting it. But yeah, if you can't sleep at night, listen to me drone on and on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's legit. It's not just a joke.
Is it on Spotify?
It's everywhere. Just
is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm totally gonna go like download.
Yeah. Apple, Google, yeah. Oh, hey, follow, like, and subscribe, everybody. To the YouTube channel.
You can find us on Instagram at HWMIY Podcast, and like and subscribe us on YouTube too, please, because we need those followers. Thank you.
All right, great. That comes to the end of the podcast. It's been fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Veronica.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, we'll sign off. See you guys next week.
Peace.
Bye.